welcome back to the channel. I'm Ryan, your culty BFF, and a couple days ago I made a video on the TerraMar Project, a philanthropic effort by Ghislaine Maxwell to clean up the oceans, but I really believe it was just an effort for her to clean up her image. I highlighted how TerraMar has connections to high-profile people, and I believe these charities are just a way for them to wash their image after they've been connected to a scandal like the Epstein files. I was able to connect to Howard Lutnick, who is our current Secretary of Commerce, also embroiled in an alleged scheme where his former company, Cantor Fitzgerald, bought the rights to hundreds of millions of dollars in potential refunds from companies who paid Trump's tariffs, as well as the connections to Bill and Hillary Clinton. Well, the person that we're going to be discussing today is Philip Levine. He's here pictured on the right. And Philip Levine is the alleged person that introduced the Clintons to Ghislaine. And that undercurrent seems to tie all of these people together. So this news article says Royal Caribbean board member Tom Pritzker invited Jeffrey Epstein aboard a ship in 2011 Epstein Files show. So Jeffrey Epstein maintained close relationships with former Royal Caribbean board member Tom Pritzker and cruise industry mogul Philip Levine, whose company held an exclusive partnership with Royal Caribbean. This relationship spanned decades and continued after Jeffrey Epstein's conviction in 2008. The files reveal that Pritzker invited Epstein aboard a Royal Caribbean cruise ship in 2011, and that there's a victim who alleges she was taken off a Royal Caribbean ship in the U.S., Virgin Islands, and trafficked to Epstein's private island. All of this is alleged. I'm not saying anybody did anything. This is alleged. I'm just digging in to all of the connections. I'm going to skip past Pritzker because he's not the focus of today's video. It's going to be Philip Levine. So in Epstein's infamous Black Book, Pritzker appeared with 12 phone numbers and was noted as numero uno, and his name is in there more than 7,000 times. And Virginia Giuffre is one of Epstein's most prominent accusers, testified in 2016 that she had sex with Tom Pritzker. Now, in 2011, Pritzker invited Epstein on tour on one of Royal Caribbean's megaships while it was docked in St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands. And here you can see the email between the two where the Oasis or Allure megaships are going to be in the area. So in St. Thomas. So he's asking, Tom Pritzker is asking Epstein, you want to come take a tour? So the location is Crown Bay, and that just sits miles from Little St. James. So very easy to get to. How convenient, right? Okay, another email. This one is from Pritzker to Maxwell. So it's just showing that they have relationships. All these people are saying they don't have relationships with each other. They maybe met each other one time, but they never hung out. There's no pictures. There's no evidence whatsoever. And then here we go. The Epstein's files were released, and there's tons of evidence of people together. Philip Levine made his fortune through cruise lines. Okay, so Philip Levine was the mayor down in Miami-Dade, I believe, down in Florida somewhere, one of the cities. It probably will say that. But he has most of his fortune through these cruise lines and onboard media, which was producing in-cabin magazines, programming, marketing, etc. for cruise ships. In 2011, he founded Royal Media Partners, which became the exclusive onboard media partner for Royal Caribbean. That's a sweet deal. That's a really sweet deal. Oh, here we go. Levine also served as mayor of Miami Beach from 2013 to 2017 and mounted an unsuccessful campaign for Florida governor in 2018. His name appears in the files more than 600 times, and there were 13 numbers associated with Levine in Epstein's Black Book. And Levine refers to Epstein as his friend, and Levine's closest tie in Epstein's network was to Ghislaine Maxwell. And in some of the emails that we're going to look at, there seems like there could have been possibly either a very flirty or a sexual relationship between the two. And yes, in one of them, I don't believe it was Maxwell that wrote. I think that Levine was the one who wrote that he was hung like a horse. We'll see. Anything? Oh, okay. So here comes a trigger warning, please. And if you can't tell, I'm a little bit sick. So we're just going to move through this as fast as we can. So the Epstein files include a victim who states that she traveled to the U.S. Virgin Islands on a Royal Caribbean ship and was later raped off the cruise ship by Epstein when she was 17. And I found the document, so I might just pull that up. The Epstein files reviewed for this article contain no information that either Pritzker or Levine were involved in the rape and trafficking of the victim. Okay, I just want to say this is all alleged, but again, there is an undercurrent, and I just want to show all the people who are swimming in that ocean. So here's Philip Levine quickly. So on the TerraMar video I made, I highlighted Philip Levine, but we didn't discuss him. But here he is on the front. And here is Philip Levine asking or having a conversation with Epstein about him running for mayor. And Epstein says that he would like to contribute to the campaign and asks him how he does it, how he can do it. So absolutely a relationship here between Epstein and Levine and Ghislaine. Now, Bill Clinton also is friends with Levine, or at least knows him politically. Bill Clinton just endorsed Philip Levine for Miami Beach mayor, which I thought this was an interesting little note here. To be fair, most of Levine's other campaign donations go to Democrats, including Hillary Clinton primary campaign back in 2008. So these people are such buddy in good circles that they're donating to each other's campaigns, supporting each other. Must be nice to have friends like that, right? With friends like that, who needs enemies? Ex-Miami Beach mayor says he doesn't know how Jeffrey Epstein got his phone numbers. I'm surprised. I'm shocked. How could this ever have happened? Maybe because you've been emailing the guy for years. There's that. So this is what Levine says about his relationship with Epstein. I think I met him possibly only 2 or 3 times, but briefly, maybe over 15 years at events, Levine wrote. Never had a friendship or business relationship with him. Don't remember ever giving him my full contact info, but possibly did give him my contact card. And possibly you even received a donation from him. Wow. I love how they all try to weasel their way out of these connections that they have. Like it's all good. It's all goody, as long as you can get something from the relationship. And then when it's worn out, it's welcome. In the bin, babes. Now also too, funnily enough, Levine has connections to President Obama. So in 2010, Levine was selected by President Obama's Secretary of Commerce to serve on a task force advising on U.S. tourism. The goals of the task force were to grow America's tourism industry. Levine is a self-described radical centrist. He criticized President Trump's delayed response for her. Okay. He's a connected guy. Nothing wrong with that. Thought this was interesting. Levine, at this time back in 2018, his net worth was $133 million. But he was willing to put those assets aside in a blind trust if he was elected Florida governor. He did not get elected to Florida governor, just so you're aware. Now, this is just a little bit about Philip Levine, but I thought it was interesting that he's one of the hosts, Miami host committee to the 2026 Miami FIFA. Oh, how about that? How about them apples? I don't think there's anything from here that I really wanted to read through. It really just highlights all the connections that he has to people. I mean, he seems like an okay guy, other than the fact he's connected to shitty people, and that just makes me wonder. Did your shitty people radar just not go up? Was it not working that day? Or are you just a shitty person? Don't know. Okay. This might be random. I'm just going through all the images that I pulled up as I was researching, so I apologize if I'm bouncing around. I'm sick and I didn't feel like writing anything out, and I'm not very organized right now, so don't be petty, spaghetti. So this email shows that Ghislaine and Philip had such a cute, close little relationship that she called him Polyp. So he wasn't Philip. In a few of the emails, you'll see that she calls him Polyp. It's a little lovely little name, Polyp. Something you get inside your asshole. I would probably not be calling my friend that, but that's okay. Oh, okay. This one, I just thought it was interesting because he tells her to tell this girl that he is hung like a horse, and it's not a rumor. And Ghislaine said that she likes to verify all information she gives out. So whether that means she verified that information and they boned and she knows what his D looks like, or, this is just one of them little jokey relationships, not sure. Couldn't tell you. Do with that what you will. Okay, here we go. This is the one. Let me make that larger. This is from the interview of Ghislaine Maxwell. And this is where she elucidates how she met, how she met the Clintons. Hello, sorry. Okay. So she went to the White House with Epstein once for a historical, like one of those benefits. I met the president then, but like 1,000 other people shook his hand. Then after that, I had a good friend of mine that was the mayor, known to be the mayor of Miami Beach, Philip Levine. And Philip and the president were very good friends. And Philip and I were very good friends. And so actually I was introduced to the president post his coming out of the White House and became friendly with him because of Philip Levine. Okay. So right here she says that it was Philip Levine, her very good friend, that's also very good friends with Clinton, that did the introduction. And again, the way that she's kind of saying, they were, maybe she's trying to get the timeline right in her head. Who knows? But if this is accurate information, they were very close. So close that on 9/21/2010, Philip Levine was at the house, at Jeffrey Epstein's house, for a 11 o'clock visit, because this is from Leslie Groff, and she is one of his secretaries, procurers. I don't know what you call that, a sycophant. This is from Philip Levine to Jeffrey, and it says, "Hi, I just want you to know that I'm happy that everything has come to a positive ending for you during these tough times." Because Jeffrey was going through such a really, really tough time. The truth had come out about him, how perverted he was, and his reputation was... And this guy feels really bad. Phil just feels bad for him. He's a good guy. Like Trump said, Epstein's a good guy. You're a great guy. I know all good things will come to you going forward. In Europe for a while, and I hope we can catch up soon. Your friend, Philip. So lovely to have friends. All right, now this is the email that a lot of people are talking about because it has to deal with 9/11. And I had been doing some research into 9/11. I did a live stream like last week. If you're interested in watching it, it was really about me just watching the dancing Israelis, as well as the connection to Amdocs and Comverse and the Israeli infiltration into our government and the spy networks who were using Amdocs and Comverse to get our personal information. And I mean like FBI, CIA, yada, yada. Go check it out if you want. So this one, I don't know that it means anything. There's a possibility that people are drawing the wrong conclusions about it, because just a few days, 7 days after 9/11, Philip writes to Ghislaine, "Where's the real pilot?" So that's like weird, suspicious. What you mean? So it seems as though, if I'm reading this correctly, Ghislaine sends him a picture. Now she's in a helicopter with her friend Kelly. And he replies, "Where's the real pilot?" So that might have just been like a dark joke about 9/11, like, where's the real pilot? Just like what happened with 9/11. I don't know, but I'm assuming it must be some kind of sick joke or something about 9/11, because Ghislaine writes back, now, you know better than that. Be nice, because one day you will be in the backseat whilst I'm flying. So, you don't want to go down when she's flying. And then he says, "I'll be in the backseat with you sitting next to me." And she says, No. It's not just the Arabs that spend hours learning to fly. I will be right seat, and if you are not careful, you will be in luggage. And he says, luggage sounds safer, baggage more like. So this could just be a little flirtatious back and forth using dark humor about, people, 3,000 people who just died a week previous, because who doesn't make jokes about 3,000 dead people? I guess people don't who don't see children as humans and sees them as property probably think that that's funny. So do with this information what you will. Where is the real pilot? What does that mean? Does that mean some kind of insider information is known here? Couldn't tell you. And this is all alleged. Don't sue me. In this exchange, Philip Levine and Ghislaine are writing back and forth. And this one I thought was very, very interesting too, because it mentions Sephora and the Limited. Okay. So they're exchanging numbers back and forth. And this one says, I don't know who this is from actually. This one says, thanks for the offer. I'm glad to meet Jeffrey, but he should know we already have somebody else having made contact with us on behalf of the Limited regarding Sephora. Tony. Okay, so whoever this Tony person is. And the bottom part says, Tony, I've been asked to possibly set up an appointment between you and my friend Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey would like to meet with you in Paris regarding Sephora. Briefly, Jeffrey is a major financier and the financial advisor and representative for Leslie Wexner of the Limited. He will be in Paris next week, and depending on your schedule, he is available Tuesday through Thursday. Thanks. Philip Levine. So Philip Levine and this Tony guy and Ghislaine, I'm guessing they're just all copied in on this email or what have you. So what the heck does it mean that Philip Levine wants to connect Jeffrey Epstein with Sephora? And then Sephora says, we've already been in contact on behalf of the Limited. And then you have Wexner saying, he never had any authorization to contact people on behalf of me and say that he was a representative and try to get models and yada, yada, yada. That man allegedly could be the freaking brains. Well, not brains, but maybe the financing behind the entire operation. Wexner. I don't know. Alleged. But Philip, you should be ashamed. This is super freaking creepy. The connections here. Public office? All these people. I'm sorry, y'all. It's just kind of like gobsmacked sometimes. I don't know what to say about it. All right. This just shows that they had a little cutesy relationship. Philip says to Ghislaine, Jillian, in all seriousness, thank you very much for your warm and generous hospitality. You are a great person, and I sincerely enjoy our friendship. Next flight is on me, love. Polyp. What flight would that be? Where are you flying, Philip? I'm really curious to know where you're going. Mayor, former mayor, hope to be governor. Sorry, again, I jumped around. Trigger warning. We are going to go back to the allegation about the Virgin Islands cruise ship and the young girl who alleges something happened to her on that cruise, and it just so happens that Epstein was invited on a cruise in the same year. I do not know. This was the only one I could find as of today. I'm not sure if this top portion here is meant to be connected to this paragraph here. I would assume that it is, that it's just from one person. But I'm not going to read this part up here because I don't know if it doesn't have anything to do with the cruise ship, and I'm trying to keep it to the cruise ship because the connections to the Pritzker and Levine and Cruz and Epstein. So in Virgin Islands, I was, and I'm assuming this is some kind of assault. They stopped there. I was 17 years old. Something was blindfolded and taken to an underground location. It had steps that went down. I was raped by Jeffrey Epstein. There were other men that raped me. I was kept in a stall so that men could look at me. He said I was an animal and that he was perfect. If I had sex with him, that I wouldn't be such an animal. Blank. He said I wanted to be raped because I wanted to be more like him. All right, friends, I'm not going to draw any conclusions. I'm going to exit stage left here, but we know that these elite networks thrive by bumping elbows, by being close to each other, by covering for each other, scratching each other's backs, exchanging favors. But this is how it's happened for, I don't even know, since this country's inception for sure, but probably across the globe. But when things backfire, like when stuff goes bad for Epstein and for Maxwell, where's all their friends? Where'd all these people go? All the celebrities and the hobnobbing. I guess it really didn't mean that much. I guess you're only willing to do whatever it takes to stay relevant so you can stay in the network, to stay in that undercurrent. But once all the fun is gone, the thrill is gone, you're out the door and pretending like you don't even know who these people are. I don't know, it must be really sad to have such a shill and shallow friendships like that. All right, guys, I don't have anything more for you. I'm going to get out of here, but I don't believe that these people were just acquaintances. I know that there's a lot of money, politics, influence, media moguls, etc., hanging out together in these networks, and they're getting something from each other. I don't think that this is just a coincidence, but again, this is all alleged. I can't make any defined claims, but I would love to know what you think about all this information. And the thing is, you guys, we're never going to get anywhere until we start asking questions, because once we start asking questions, then we can start holding people accountable. And that is what I don't see happening here, is nobody being held accountable. So we've got to make some changes. We've got to make this happen. All right, guys, I love you. I'll see you soon. Stay curious. Curiosity cured the cat.